Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome to, well, a bench update plus a couple of other bits of news, including some of the figures that I've finished recently. There's been some activity recently on YouTube amongst the community saying that we don't do, or there aren't as many Napoleonic figure painting videos on at the moment. I think that's probably because a lot of people I know in the community are spending their time on the Google Hangouts being run by Curtis and Ian and also the other one I join in on, which is the Miniature Modelling Mayhem Hangout, which seems to be very active, and the MMM group, as it's known, is on, well, just about every night. In fact, I think one of the guys last night, James, he was saying that we've only missed one day in the last 3 or so months. There's been a chat every night, so it's keeps the rainy summer nights busy, and there are widows throughout the lands and continents wondering what the hell their husbands are up to, and boyfriends. Obviously. However, that's by the by. One thing I was going to say, if anyone subscribes to this one or buys this one, not to this month's issue, June. So, well, yes, it is this month's issue, but they always bring them out at the end of the previous month. So in this one, I ran into Henry Hyde at Salute, and I was given a challenge by the MMM group to get them a mention in this magazine, and indeed there it is. So I succeeded in my quest. Henry goes on to say, I was approached at Salute by subscriber Gary Wright, who was a regular reader of this column, was keen to know whether I'd explored the potential of Google Hangouts, etc, 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 etc. And then he does quite a long, well, 2 columns mention on that, which most of that, he's edited it, but most of that I wrote in collaboration with a couple of guys on the MMM group. So if you didn't see that, it is actually me in there. So there you go. The globally famous Marksman Gaming. So, on with the rest of the show. Okay, so what I have on the bench at the moment, I'm having another go at doing some of these Hobbit characters. So I've got Balin, son of Fundin, Lord of Moria here. He's a very nice little figure. I might got to do a bit more work on the beard and on his outfit, but he's coming on quite nicely. I decided to do another Gollum figure because why not? I had 2 of them. Got a goblin at the back there. Feely and Keely are also around. As for Napoleonic stuff, I've got the French Army camp figures that I've done about half of them now, so I'm working on these guys who are foraging and doing some metal work there. And I've got one of these IFX Waterloo farmhouse set carts that I'm doing, because what I want to do is expand the sets that I have, so not just cavalry, artillery, rocket troops, infantry. I want to start adding the incidentals, the flora and fauna, you could call it, of little foraging parties, carts, trucks, because then I can do either little skirmish games where a supply line is ambushed or a supply line has to get through, that sort of thing. Could even put some explosives on a cart and drive it up to somewhere and see if they can get it to explode to break open some gates of a fortress or something like that. You know, it's just to add to the options, and I've got these figures, so I may as well do them. I've been doing a lot of Civil War guys recently, so I'm just adding to the Civil War cavalry that I have from the Revel set, and my good mate in Utrecht, Edzard Jan van Zouten of Hasselbank, Vennegoor, Den, Amsterdam of The Hague, to give him his full name, sent me his Rebel artillery. So these are the Swedish artillery set, which get a very, very good review on the Plastic Soldier review website. There's something like 23 different poses in there, and it's listed as the greatest artillery set ever produced at this scale. So very delighted he sent me those. Thank you very much, Edzard. And I have a load of the 30 Years War figures here, which I'll be using for my Civil War armies. Loads in there. Quite a few cavalry left as well. So yeah, Civil War stuff going strong, adding to those, and I'm also, once I've finished the Civil War guys here, which won't take that much longer, I'm going to do some Prussian units. So I've already bought from Selweg last year, actually, the Prussian Dragoons, the hat set. So they are the guys you'll see on the bench at the moment. I can just find one. That's the horses there, and there's one of the cavalry guys there. So I've started on those, and I also have the Prussian Hussars, which don't look that too different to the Dragoons, apart from the fancy braid on the front. So those as well will be coming. Plus I also got the Selweg last year, the Prussian Uhlans, and they have a choice of weapons on the back, so I'll have to get another couple of sets of those because they're very nice. So lots of Prussians to do. I have lots and lots of the Revel Prussian infantry. So I'm doing the regular Prussian infantry now after finishing off that first unit of Airfix Landwehr troops, and I've already got Blucher done. So it's time to start building up the Prussian army. So as I say, once I've cleared some room on here, I will be doing that. I've started on, I bought a set of the hat Prussian infantry command sets. You get 4 of these sprues, so you get 9 figures on each sprue. You've got a drummer, you've got several NCOs, several officers, a fife player, it could be a flute. There's also a guy with a horn. No innuendo on this channel, by the way, please calm down. So I have 4 sprues of that, so that is going to provide a really good basis for building up quite a large Prussian army when I add those to the Revel units that I have. I could probably get 6 regiments of Prussians out of this lot. Might have to buy another one of these line sets, but that's not a big deal. I'll buy them when I need them. Really don't want to be buying much more stuff because I want to start clearing out some of the stuff that I've got. So let's take a look around. So yeah, there's one of the Prussian guys, and at the front here, if I just zoom in, So a nice drummer there, NCO. Some more NCOs here, an officer, and across the top I have, must oil this camera tripod. So some Civil War cavalry and the dragoons taking place across. What I do is I do a couple of coats of this pale blue paint. It's called Blue Lake, and then I do a couple of washes of Prussian blue on top of that, so that brings out the detail. It shows up the buttons, so you can paint them silver or gold or brass, and it darkens the blue, but that Blue Lake colour gives a nice base coat for doing blue, I find. And oops, I'm also, oh there he is, if I can just, I might bring him down actually. That is Slender Billy, or William of Orange, who was at Waterloo and Quatre Bras, and is amusingly portrayed in Sharp's Waterloo. You're not in uniform, Sharp. Dog it, tell him. He's not in uniform. Sorry, sir. So I thought I'd do him. And I have... I'll bring him down actually, hang on a minute. So here we have, in the centre, Slender Billy, or Silly Billy, as Sharp calls him. Rebecca, his aide-de-camp, I believe, played by Oliver Tobias in Sharp's Waterloo, and Doggett, his gopher whipping boy next to him. So this will be the command set for Slender Billy. I've also recently finished Picton. Come on, you vermin, you scabs, you scum, as Jack Hawkins calls them in the Waterloo movie. He's a very nice figure to paint, and quite handy that he's dressed in black, which I find is a figure that's always quick to paint if they're one colour. But there's a few little adornments on him as well, but he's lovely. So he's also going to be a command set, so I need a couple of officers to go with him, a couple of mounted officers, which is what I tend to do. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing on my bench at the moment. What I'll do now is show you some stuff that I've completed recently. Now, what I've recently finished is this Waterloo French Cavalry set, number 6003, which are these wonderful Carabiniers. So they've got these fantastic gold breastplates, which really attracted me to them. White trousers, little bits of red and blue, and their Smurf type hats on there, which are, can't remember what they call these, but they're like Etruscan or Grecian style helmets, aren't they? Very popular at the time. There are 34 parts, so 17 figures in there. It's the Italeri set, actually. So yeah, I've finished those, which I'll just zoom in a little bit. And these were very enjoyable to paint, I must say. You've got lots of gold adornment on there, on the saddles and the blankets at the back of the figures. Lots and lots of gold on there, which is very, very nice. So these are going to look very impressive on the battlefield. Heartily recommend these. Very nice set indeed. So there you go. I'll just Pan around, oops. The trumpet player is very nice. Bugler, easy for me to say. Bugler, I should say. Horses are all nice poses. Get a fair few men actually using their carbines in these. It's really annoying with the Prussian dragoon set, the hard set that I'm doing at the same time. Not one of them has a musket, or carbine rather, which is I find a bit odd. If you're going to have dragoons, where the hell is the gun? I suppose I could always cut them off other figures, like some natty old Airfix figures that I've got spare. Maybe I could do that for the Prussian dragoons. I will of course first look up to see if they actually had guns, but if they do, then I could do that, do a bit of customization. Anyway, back to these guys, very enjoyable and a lovely set, so I'll just do some shots from the side and the rear. So from the side, there you go, I'll just zoom in a little. There you go. And from the rear, I'm finding now that painting the horses is a lot quicker for me now. I know the easy way to do it, so what used to be a burden is not so bad now. See how these guys have even got the gold straps on the blankets, so a very fancy unit this. Okay, what I'm going to do is take some photographs as well and put them up at the end of this video, because then you can get more detail. I think this camera, although it's got quite a good resolution, doesn't have a good enough resolution to zoom in this far, so I shall do that. And I'm now going to show you the other cavalry set that I've just completed in June. The unit I completed for my May challenge with the Modelling Mayhem group, which was to paint something unusual, which was what spurred me on to do something that I hadn't done for quite some time, which is to do some English Civil War stuff. So these are the Cromwells Cavalry set, which are from Waterloo 1815. I bought 2 boxes of those to get a decent sized unit out of them, so I've still got a few left, but I've also added in a couple of Revel Imperial 30 Years War Cavalry in there as well, just to add a couple of different poses, because the problem with this set, and the only problem that it is really, is that they're limited to 4 poses, so you only get a guy with a pistol, you only get one guy with a sword, and you get the guy with a carbine type. So that is, and oh yes, and you also get a choice of a guy with a standard or a bugle, or cornet I should say. which is a bit of a shame really, because it's a really lovely set. You know, 5 or 6 poses even. Is it too much to ask from that set? Would have been lovely, which is why I decided to put some Revel guys in there anyway. The officer here on the side with the white belts instead of brown, I had a Revel figure with his head missing, so I took the sword from the sword arm from him and stuck it onto one of the guys who would have been a trumpeter or standard bearer. So that is one way around it, to actually just put a different arm on from someone else. So that's what I've done with him, and you can't really tell that he's a different figure to the rest of them. So yeah, that's these guys. I shall again do, and there's another Revel guy there. I decided to add him in for good measure. He might become one of Hazelrig's Ironside types. If I've got a couple more of these, I think if I get a few more, then I could make a really heavy armoured cavalry unit. But for the moment, he can fit in with this happy band. And let me show you from the rear. So from the rear as we go along, what might be an idea with this set is to do something like an entire squadron of horses just with the carbines. That would look quite good, I think. I've got 5 in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 musket or carbine in this little band. So yeah, I did consider that, but that would have meant buying quite a few more boxes. Never mind, maybe I'll do that in future. So yeah, these were very enjoyable to paint as well. Very nice set. And everybody has a carbine, which is always a good thing. I'll just do a side. So there you have it, and I'm now going to take some photographs and stick those up at the end. So for those of you who've stuck through this, thank you very much, well done, pat on the back. You may notice that what these guys are on, I'm making, decided to make some terrain. So what I've got is some bark that I found in a park, bark from the park, and that's on top of a thick cardboard base. I've put newspaper on the top as well. Another piece of bark there to make some cliffs up. Obviously I'm nowhere near finishing this, but once I've highlighted by dry brushing the rocky outcrops, it's going to look a lot different. I think I'll do those in grey, and then this will be flocked with some clump foliage as well. So that'll be a nice addition to my terrain that I've got. So this was an experiment really. This is just cardboard that I'm using, but what I do have is some, this is the box for the Waterloo 15 Cromwells Cavalry, by the way. So if you do decide to go for these, it's this one. And it cost me, each box was £7.50, so not bad. From Salute. started working on some polystyrene terrain, so that's another thing that I'll be showing over the next few weeks, how I'm getting on with these as I get around to it. What I'm going to do is put a layer of PVA on there, and then maybe a thin wash of very thin filler and PVA on top to give it some traction on the top. Keep the summit flat, of course, because otherwise your figures won't stand up. So we'll see how I get on with that. Okay, on with the photos.